I have been staunch in my criticism for the upcoming Gladiator II, and we took a look at some of the stills of the trailer, obviously not being able to play it because A, it's a Paramount joint, and B, there's a lot of copyrighted music over the top of that, but I failed to note at the time because I just had a Twitter post of it, and obviously the comments, they were going to be wild and out of control, but a lot of people were focusing on the music choices of it, especially with the superb score of the original, something that you can probably still hear in the back of your mind to this very day, and then just wondering, it's like, okay, cool, you are already just trying to bastardize the original, so why are you trying to make this, the most unnecessary sequel in history, fall into even more modern day trappings? Like, you already cast Pedro Pascal, okay, the flavor of the month personified, but throwing on a rap song and an older rap song, but just because you have Denzel Washington, that's weird, but it was never, ever the central point of my criticism. But it's what a lot of people are latching on. So let's take a look at this. The trailer is roasted for inclusion of a Jay-Z and Kanye West song. Potential moviegoers that didn't hold back their disgust after the first trailer of Gladiator II dropped. Many called the trailer out for its tone-deaf inclusion of a Jay-Z and Kanye West rap song. No, the first thing that I noticed was, hey, remember Maximus? Remember Russell Crowe? Remember 2001? Remember? Remember when Ridley Scott wasn't a hack ruining his legacy? Remember all of that? About 2/3 of the way through the trailer, rap song No Church in the Wild by Jay-Z and Kanye West, Frank Ocean, and The Dream. Holy crap, man. That's rap for you. More prominent artists, about a quarter of a talent of what songs 20 years removed used to provide, is played over top the trailer, and fans made it clear this was not getting them interested in the film. In fact, it appears to have done the opposite. Yeah, exactly, and we have the trailer pulled up right here, and at this point in time, 127,000 upvotes. Oh, okay, cool. 246,000 downvotes. Oh, that's really not cool. That's, in fact, really, really bad, but it's number 5 on trending, so any publicity is good publicity, right? When you've got comments like, when the rap starts playing, I thought Vin Diesel was going to show up with his V8 in the arena. Yeah, because this really is a story about family. This Jay-Z song mentions a Coliseum. Yeah, stick that in there. I just came here for the comments. I'm literally dying. Can't believe they didn't use parts of the original theme to hit you in the nostalgia. That Hans Zimmer score still gives me goosebumps. Hey, OnlyFans reply girl, yeah, actually knocked it out the park with that. Making an emergency call to Hans Zimmer. Yeah, of course, but this is Ridley Scott, man, okay? The guy who was also listening to criticism of the Napoleon abomination that released last year. Yeah, that was a Ridley Scott joint, okay? It actually made the base claim that, you know, French people don't even care about their history, so why should I? Do you go ahead and extrapolate that to Ridley Scott doesn't really care about his legacy? I mean, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, Blade Runner 2049. Yeah, we already know that you don't really have a great reverence for history, but with all the people focusing on the music, that's the last of my concerns, man. I think Majestic Surge, one of the comments that we didn't see that was on there, awful music choice, you showed too much, awful music choice. No, I think number 2 is probably the most important thing to point out. You showed too much. Yeah, that trailer, it confirmed who the main character was, okay, and then it was kind of funny that he would later go on to, in that trailer, and say, I never knew a mother or a father, is like, you were very obviously a school-age child, 8 or 9 at that point in time, and your mom is still in the movie, right? Like Connie Nielsen's, like she's right there, so it's going to be a little tough to reconcile. But the fact that Ridley Scott decided to make those music choices, okay, just kind of lets you know. And then, of course, as humans, we are pattern recognizers, also seeing the way that Ridley Scott has treated his prior works and even some of his more recent original works. Why should we think that this is going to be a good movie? This is just simply underscoring all of the concerns we already had going into this film. Couple that with the reports of this film costing upwards of $400 million, the production of this being categorized as taking place in the lower circles of hell. That's what I would point to. Not a rap song about the Romans. That's going to be silly because modern deism. And then you end up having people, and this is the way that I kind of think about this. You have people so willing to hop on controversy to make a couple of bucks. Raw egg nationalist, normally pretty based on things, but you ended up getting taken by, well, if you could take a look at Les Cinephiles' profile, yeah, it's a parody. Okay, but Ridley Scott's Gladiator II will feature original songs by Travis Scott, Metro Boomin, Ice Spice, Lil Yachty, Playboi Carti, Post Malone. it's so ridiculous, and you know that Ridley Scott is just not that coherent or doesn't really care that much about his product, where it looks like, man, as stupid as that looks, it could be true. Could be true. That's why you got to check the BIOS, man. Okay. The fact that there's no source on that is like, come on, man. You got to go ahead and run it back. But that's what I did in this situation. Yeah, which songs are on the Gladiator II soundtrack? Well, here's the thing, okay? And here's another reason why you probably shouldn't be all that optimistic about this. When it comes to movie soundtracks, they don't come much more epic or recognizable than the one used for Ridley Scott's 2000 film Gladiator. The long-awaited sequel, Gladiator II, arrives in cinemas later this year. All eyes, or should we say ears, will be focused on what this new historical epic has to offer. While the iconic score, the first film, came from Hans Zimmer and Lisa Gerard, neither have returned to compose the score for Gladiator II. For as many times as Hans Zimmer gets shoehorned as being the French horn farts guy. Yeah, I mean, he's a legend for a reason. Okay, Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, basically working hand in glove with Christopher Nolan on all of his works. Pirates of the Caribbean. Those are just the titles that come off the top of my head. And then, of course, yeah, Gladiator in that score. Like, come on, man. That the score will be composed by Harry Gregson Williams, who previously written the scores for films such as The Martian, The Last Duel, and Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. A bit of a drop down, a bit of a fall off, but okay. And started his career as Zimmer's assistant. Okay, explaining the decision not to return in the interview with Curzon, Zimmer said, it's really very simple. I've done that world, and I think I did it well. Yeah, if only Ridley had this same temperament, we wouldn't be in this situation, which I don't want to do, or getting slaughtered by critics who say you didn't do as well as you did the first time. I mean, again, I wish that level of awareness was contagious. We have a gladiator fight in Dune Part 2, right? Oof, does anybody remember that? It was a big film, but nobody talks about it. We have a gladiator fight in Gladiator, obviously, but they couldn't be more different. I liked the idea of moving on and not getting compared to my own work. One way or another, I've had enough of that, doing 3 Batman, 4 Pirates, 4 Kung Fu Panda movies. Interesting. And Gladiator takes a special place in my heart, like so many people, myself included. I think it's completely undisciplined. It wouldn't have mattered if I had written the most amazing score, because the music in the first movie sticks in people's hearts rather. That experience doing the live action version of The Lion King. Oh, brother, you did that? Well, I'm sure the score was good. The movie, I tried to step out of my own vocabulary. Every time I did, it just didn't work. So all I could do is repeat myself. You owe it to yourself and your audience to do new things. And I want to say something about Harry Gregson Williams, who started out as my assistant. He's very good friends with both Tony and Ridley Scott. Harry is family for me. He's a phenomenal composer. He just has big shoes, big bomping shoes to fill. It's very enlightening, very insightful, and something that I think is going to echo throughout all of the promotional material, throughout the entire release of Gladiator II. Should have just let sleeping dogs lie. Ridley is a marked step down from the masterpiece that is Gladiator 1. If everybody's just simply going to fixate on the music, you are kind of letting him off the hook with this, because there are several things that you can criticize. There are a lot of patterns to recognize in regards to Ridley's latter-day work, and as such, you shouldn't be given this production the benefit of the doubt in any form or fashion. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.